going back in.
There's still men out there. God damn. When I go home, people ask me, "Hey, Hoot, why do you do it, man? Why? Just some kind of war junkie?" I won't say a goddamn word. Why? They won't understand. They won't understand why we do it. They won't understand it's about the men next to you. And that's it. That's all it is.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
I want to make it clear that the views expressed by our hosts are not considered the official stance of MBR Views. Remember, this is all about having fun and enjoying the ride.
Hello and welcome to DAWG Days, where we talk about all things cannabis. I'm your hostess with the mostest, the Bud Bitch. In today's episode, we have some OG cannabis industry experts in the doghouse, Leslie Fries and Daniel Mills. We also have a very special guest, Alexandra Valin, who is also a cannabis expert and a lawyer, here to discuss hemp in Indian country and whatever else you would like to talk about, because it's all gold nuggets here on this beautiful Sunday. We are excited to offer the listeners the opportunity to ask the experts questions. The text line is open now. Our first guest is Leslie Fries. Let's bring you up, Leslie.
Hey, how are you doing today?
Good morning. There we go.
Hey.
There we go. So Leslie is the founder and CEO of SuckDet. Did I say that? Did I pronounce that correctly? Oh, where's Leslie? Oh, Leslie. I lost Leslie. Okay, we're live. So, I don't see. Oh, there she is. There she is. She's back. Where'd you go? Okay. Oh.
Sorry.
Okay. Oh no. Hey, we're live, so we just got to roll with it. So Leslie is the founder and CEO of SuckDet.
SuckDet.
I'm sorry. I do apologize for that. Originally launched as SuckDet Farms from Urbana, Colorado. It's the first licensed hemp cultivator in 2016. SuckDet is a boutique plant medicine company that is sustainably driven and restoratively focused on both agricultural and social efforts. Prior to from forming SuckDet, Leslie had been studying physical therapy at the doctorate level. Leslie's previous endeavors also include contemporary fine art and global humanitarian affairs. Hi, Leslie. It's great to see you again. Thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, thanks, Holly.
Now, we had a really good conversation about two, 3 weeks ago, and you have so much information to share with everybody. I knew I wanted to have you on and continue our conversation. First of all, what is the name of your company? What does it mean? Where does it come from?
Yeah, definitely. I get that question a lot, along with how do you pronounce the company. It is SuckDet. We were the first licensed hemp grow in Arvada, Colorado. There were definitely other growers before us. SuckDet is actually an old, Egyptian goddess, an old form of the spelling of Sothis or Sokdet. It's kind of a pre-Isidore. SuckDet is the personification of the star Sirius, which has a lot of reference to different global populations, especially down in Africa. It was a star that would come in the night sky.
Oh, gosh. No, Leslie. Hopefully she pops back on here. Devices are not connected. Okay, she's trying to get back on again. There's Daniel. You back, Leslie?
Hey, Holly. I keep on
Yay.
losing connection. I'm not sure why.
Are you frozen now? Are you good? Is there a way we can call in? Have Leslie call in, possibly? Yeah. That's a new one for me. So we could try to do that if you want to tell me how to do that, H. Oh, okay. Here's a number. You can call in, Leslie? It's in the private chat. Should we give Leslie a second? Do you want to call in, Leslie, instead of doing the video?
Hey, Holly.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know why I keep on losing connections. I don't know where I got cut off.
Okay. Do you want to call the number and join us via the on the phone?
Yeah, let me try that.
Yeah. Let's give Leslie a second. Do you want to take a quick emergency break here?
Yeah,
put a
that's what
video
I was going
on?
to say. Let me do. Let's go to.
Restless heart, broken from the start, and you think that you must walk this path alone. Break away and love yourself today. You have to fight the bad thoughts in your mind, 'cause you will find your better off alive. Don't give your life away. You, my friend, you're worth it in the end. Don't give it all away. Restless minds, pacing all the time, giving in to someone's point of view. And over time, when you step back from that line, you see you're not alone, and we're all afraid. 'Cause you will find your better off alive. Don't give your life away. You, my friend, you're worth it in the end. Don't give it all away. And you will find your better off alive. Don't give your life away. And you, my friend, you're worth it in the end. Don't give it all away.
Love you, Daddy.
Love you too, girls.
Good night.
Stats tell that each day, 22 veterans commit suicide due to PTSD. These stats shook us and urged us to do our part. After hours and hours of thinking, Beekeeping for Veterans was born. Beekeeping for Veterans combines beekeeping with mindfulness meditation. Why combine them? Here's why. Beekeeping causes positive rush of adrenaline while beekeeping. You have to be calm during it. You are mindful of your movements. Each week, a veteran will receive a mindful meditation to build emotional and mental skill sets. Mindfulness is a set of 3 attentional skills that work together: concentration, sensory clarity, and equanimity, mental calmness, composure, evenness of temper. Every time mindfulness is practiced, we build these skills. Beekeeping for Veterans not only helps veterans overcome emotional trauma, but also aids our environment, as without bees, there is no food. Come forward. The people who have supported your country now need your support.
Hello and welcome back, everybody, to Dog Days Show. Our next guest, while we wait for our good friend Miss Leslie to come back online.
She's on the line now.
Oh, she's on now?
Yep.
Hey.
Okay, well, we'll bring her back after the next break, if that's okay. We're going to go ahead and roll with Daniel Mills. He is the president at Grow Queen. How are you this morning, Daniel?
I'm good. How are you, Holly?
Doing well.
Sorry.
We have some challenges here this morning, but we're just going to roll with it.
Yeah, that's all you can do. I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. I'm going live, and this is good. It keeps you frosty, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It keeps you on your feet.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm interested. I understand that all the guests that I have on today, it's kind of like bringing the band back together. You guys have some history together, and I'm very interested because I know and I've heard about the cannabis industry. And was it the Farm Bill that kind of rocked the boat to a point where you guys just kind of had to say, okay, we got to split the band up and do solo projects? Uh-oh, can't hear you.
Yeah, no, I'm here. Sorry.
Oh.
So in 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, those were the good years of hemp farming. And yes, the Farm Bill sort of paved the way at a certain point. But hemp farming was very lucrative before that. And there was sort of state regulations that enabled at least Colorado to be involved. And at that point, things were really good. When the Farm Bill changed, this has been a while now. It's been a while since I even thought about this stuff. When the Farm Bill sort of changed, I don't remember when that was. Alex probably does. It opened kind of the floodgates, which was good and bad because, 2019, 2020 is when everything crashed. So, someone is, Lewin, so you're moving my mouse. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Sorry, my son's moving my mouse.
So it was a combination of the Farm Bill and the state of Colorado that kind of caused the upset of the closure. Because I was looking at you guys' website, and I guess it hasn't been revamped or updated for a while. And I was talking to Leslie, and I was there like, yeah, I'm a hemp farmer too. Mm-hmm. I have like 80 acres, and I haven't really planted anything yet. So out of curiosity, I went and I checked out your old website, mm-hmm. and you guys were really rocking it out. You guys were pretty robust and doing really awesome things. You had Colorado, you had North Carolina, you were even doing something in Honduras.
Not personally doing anything on Honduras. I don't know what that's about. We worked. So that's my new company. So the old company is called North Fork Agriculture.
Okay.
Grow Queen houseplant fertilizer company.
Oh.
So my background's in just general agronomy, soil science, soil chemistry, plant physiology, and that's kind of was what I brought into cannabis. I honed my skills in cannabis, and then when hemp sort of really came on the radar, I moved into hemp, and we started with 15 acres, and it was very lucrative at that time, which was 2018. And then we moved and scaled to 200 in 2019. And then the whole hemp industry sort of fell apart. And because we produced roughly a 10-year supply in 1 year or less than 1 year for the whole country. So the saturation point hit, and then the price just dropped through multiple floors into the hollow earth, if you will. So it changed the whole thing. And that there wasn't any, we kind of struggled along for another 2 years trying to, in hindsight, I wish I had closed the doors immediately and moved on. But we struggled along for a couple more years and then shut the doors on that. So that's kind of the history of it. We did do a lot of things. We figured out how to scale acreage and sort of the technical side of farming, which was what I was really interested in. And we successfully planted 200 acres, which is quite a feat, especially live plants, not seeds, not direct seeding. And we also produced a ton of feminized seeds in 2018, 2019. And we did a huge project in Maryland producing feminized seeds from genetics that we basically studied and found and then crossed and built a whole genetic library. So it was a fun process. I mean, it wasn't that fun. It was kind of hell, but there was
I'm getting the sense that this is kind of a touchy subject. So
it's hard. It's hard. We lost a lot of money. We lost a lot of time. We lost a lot of energy,
we need to hear that here, because the same thing, a different wave is coming up on the horizon with hemp, and builders are looking at industrial hemp for their houses now. I believe it's actually an approved building material that we can now use.
It's wonderful.
In people's houses. That just recently happened. So builders are desperately looking for the building grade hemp product for their herd, for installation and that sort of thing. And they even have like blocks, herd hemp blocks they are looking for. And the East Coast, I was talking to a builder on the East Coast, and he said to keep down on the carbon footprint, he has to import building grade hemp from overseas. Because he can throw it on a big cargo ship. Cargo ships have tons and tons of product coming into the United States, and for the carbon footprint, it's just easier if he goes outside, a certain radius. It just doesn't make sense for him to truck in building grade hemp from California. That doesn't make sense, and he's kind of disappointed and sad because he wants to use U.S. product, of course,
right,
and not buy from the Chinese or wherever he is, or wherever he's getting the product from. So there's a new wave on the horizon for hemp.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, when you're talking about industrial hemp, which is it's the same plant, but it's really in a lot of ways, it's a completely different crop. It's not something that I understand it. It's something that needs to be grown 500 acres plus. And you throw it out on a huge scale, a huge density, And it's this really specific set of cultivars that are just basically built to for fiber and lots and lots of stock. And really the only efficient areas to grow hemp are like huge plainslands, not really California. California is better suited to grow vegetables and sort of higher, I would say higher per acre value crops than hemp. So we're looking at like the Oklahomas, you know, the Kansas, like anywhere there's corn, basically. And I think that at a certain point there will be the infrastructure because hemp is such a useful product. I mean, yeah, it's wonderful that it's being used for building materials. It's super useful in all kinds of things that demand a strong fiber, rope, cord, burlap, you know, bags, obviously clothing, incredibly well, a good use for hemp is clothing. So yeah, it's a wonderful thing. The plant is such a beautiful and useful plant across the board. My expertise are in growing it for oils, via cannabis or CBD. You know, that's all of that is about oil harvesting, whether it's for the psychoactive or the, you know, medicinal, which you could argue both are. CBD is more sort of a medicinal, non-psychoactive, right? And then THC is the psychoactive. For that, they're the same. They're one and the same. The way the plant behaves, how you have to have females only. That's my area of expertise, is growing that type of cannabis.
Awesome. So I have 2 greenhouses, and I'm kind of a fan of CBG. For some reason, I vibe with that. So if I grow some CBG plants, I give Grow Queen a call, and you guys will come get my plants and squeeze the oil out of it and process it. And
no, so
what do you guys do?
I've been in cannabis since I was 19, and you know, right around the time that the hemp company failed, I decided it was time to phase out of cannabis for me personally and my own. And I'm basically building high-end houseplant fertilizer products for home gardens and houseplants. I do consulting, so I still consult for grows, for breeding projects, for, you know, just outfits and facilities. I'm working with a group in Europe right now because Germany just legalized, and I do some breeding on the side. But Grow Queen is a company that's built for high-end houseplant care, basically.
Oh, so that's cool.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to, like, the best plant that I can possibly grow, I give you a call and say, hey, help me. Here,
absolutely.
Do you guys look at soil samples and say, okay, this is what you need to add to your soil?
Yes.
You would be able to consult me if I give you a soil sample record. Yep. You can take a look at it and say, oh yeah, Holly, you definitely need to add more nitrogen.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's suffering you ASAP.
Yeah, I have a lab that I prefer to use. If you want to do some work with me, that would be on the consulting end. That wouldn't be Grow Queen, but we could supply fertilizer to you. But yeah, it would be me. It would be me essentially, you know, having you looking at your systems and having you tell me about what you got going on, what you want to grow, what your goals are. And then, we would sample your soil, or we would build your soil, and we would dial it in for you.
That's awesome. So if we are thinking about going organic, can you help me with that? Like fish heads. I'm just
not exactly in that form, but yeah, that's my area of expertise. That's what we did. That's what I've done pretty much all throughout my career. in cannabis is all organics, especially
Nice.
the latter half of my career. So everything we did with, we couldn't get organic certified. It didn't make sense, but everything we put in, almost everything we put in was organic
Love
for
it.
all the hemp stuff. So yeah.
Love it. So at the bottom here, you'll see that we have a number that people can call in, and we are live right now. So if anybody out there has any questions for our in-house expert, Daniel Mills, he can probably point you in the right direction, give you his point of contact information. You can contact him directly, however you want to do it. But we do have an awesome grow expert in the house. We're going to go ahead and take a break. And when we come back, we're going to touch base with our special guest, Alex Valin. Stay tuned.
Stats tell that each day, 22 veterans commit suicide due to PTSD. These stats shook us and urged us to do our part. After hours and hours of thinking, Beekeeping for Veterans was born. Beekeeping for Veterans combines beekeeping with mindfulness meditation. Why combine them? Here's why. Beekeeping causes positive rush of adrenaline while beekeeping. You have to be calm during it. You are mindful of your movements. Each week, a veteran will receive a mindful meditation to build emotional and mental skill sets. Mindfulness is a set of 3 attentional skills that work together: concentration, sensory clarity, and equanimity, mental calmness, composure, evenness of temper. Every time mindfulness is practiced, we build these skills. Beekeeping for Veterans not only helps veterans overcome emotional trauma, but also aids our environment, as without bees, there is no food. Come forward. The people who have supported your country now need your support.
You going back in?
There's still men out there. God damn. When I go home, people ask me, "Hey, Hoot, why do you do it, man? Wow. You're some kind of war junkie?" I won't say a goddamn word. Why? They won't understand. They won't understand why we do it. They won't understand it's about the men next to you. And that's it. That's all it is.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
I want to make it clear that the views expressed by our hosts are not considered the official stance of MBR views. Remember, this is all about having fun and enjoying the ride.
Having fun and enjoying the ride. Hey, Alex.
Hey, how's it going?
Good morning. Going to do a quick introduction. Alex is a recent graduate from the University of Kansas School of Law, where she focused on energy, environmental, and natural resources law. Alex writes on hemp as a tool for economic development and has recently presented at the Washington Bar Association Tribal Law section on hemp as a sovereignty-affirming driver of economic development in Indian country. She was the co-founder of a hemp genetics and cultivation company in 2017, a company that has recently wound up its business after growing hundreds of pounds of hemp for CBD extraction and low THC smokable flower. That sounds fantastic. Do you want to talk about that part first and then move into what you're doing currently?
Sure. I know we've been off to a rough start, so I thought I'd help contextualize sort of, because you said we brought the band back together, and that is true. So Dan and I, Dan really was sort of the driving force behind North Fork Agriculture in 2017. And Dan and I's relationship goes way back. We've been friends for a long time, and started, I helped Dan in the early years of medical marijuana in Colorado with a lot of compliance related issues. And so when I came back to the US after doing a master's in China, Dan was like, hey, so here's the opportunity. The Farm Bill, Colorado has allowed people to grow under the pilot program would you start this venture with me and some other folks, some other growers? We need someone who has this sort of expertise in more compliance and legal issues. And I said, yes, for sure. And so that's how North Fork Ag was born. And then North Fork Ag, our first crop, Leslie was our first partner. So she came in, she was our first buyer. She produced oil with our first crop, working in a really nascent industry at a time when it was still just booming, you know, and coming out of 50 years of prohibition, there's a lot of growing pains that come from that, right? Like, yes, we had some medical marijuana in various states, but we're talking federal legalization. It really opened a lot of, it sent us down a lot of misleading paths, so to say, right? And there was a lot of greed, a lot of sort of venture capitalists that came into the industry that wanted to put a lot of money into it because they saw a lot of opportunity. And so some people made it through that. And I think if we would have stuck with it, we probably could have too. Leslie certainly did. But Dan and I eventually, and our partners, we sort of decided to bow out after some pretty difficult years. Like Dan was insinuating, there was blood, sweat, and tears, really. And we raised, and when you said hundreds of pounds, it's really hundreds of thousands of pounds. We produced hundreds of thousands of pounds in our operation alone.
Amazing.
And like Dan was saying, really saturated the market. We went from $50 a pound to $1 a pound within a year, right? And the price sort of stabilized now at 25 cents per percentage of CBD for this high quality cannabinoid rich hemp, right? And like you were suggesting earlier, there's really two routes that hemp can go. We can go the therapeutic medicinal route where we're growing for flower content, where we're growing for cannabinoids for oil extraction, or we're going down that industrial route where we're growing for fiber and textiles and feed. I mean, that's a huge thing now too. I'm sure you've sort of tuned into that as well. I mean, it is a feed crop that is much more sustainable. I mean, the Colorado River, for example, it's drying up. It's no longer reaching the sea, and that is a result of alfalfa. I never say this right. Anyway, of feed crops for cattle. And so hemp and hemp seed could be a viable alternative. Obviously, we need a major revamping of the ag sector in general, but certainly that's something that united Dan and I, and Leslie's vision was a vision for regenerative ag, a vision for a better soil maintenance, leaving the earth better than we found it, and really being conservative with our water use.
Wow, I really love that. And I totally understand the volatility of the industry. I have CBD oil, a little business on the side, and I'm very hesitant to set up a brick and mortar establishment because everything is still just, it's not solid. I don't feel like that the politics on the federal and state level are at a point that I feel comfortable investing in a brick and mortar. I do stuff online.
Yeah, I mean, from a legal perspective, CBD is pretty safe, right? But once we venture into these sort of more experimental cannabinoids that are extracted from hemp but have psychoactive effects like Delta 8, we're really in the gray zone of the law. And I know Leslie has pretty strong opinions about this, and honestly, so do I, right? We're in an unregulated space, and once you're in that area, there's a lot of people that will take advantage of that and really put products on the market that are not safe for human consumption. And what Dan and I did throughout our years of farming is a major data collection. I mean, soil sample, tissue samples. We really gathered a lot of data and looked at a lot of data. And so farming in Colorado, for example, we can't forget that cannabis is a phytoremediator. It's a bioaccumulator. It sucks everything out of the soil. And while that is a beautiful thing, right, because it has the potential to clean our soil, the other part of that is that in areas like Colorado, where we had significant mining activities and where our soils are polluted with heavy metals and significant toxins, the plant is absorbing those toxins, right?
Yeah.
And absent any regulation and any oversight, these toxins end up in our stream. And then furthermore, of course, like while we were using organic practices, that is not very common. And so again, without regulation, without testing, we have products ending up being consumed that are full of pesticides, herbicides, things that really we shouldn't be ingesting, and certainly not smoking.
Yeah, it almost takes a couple years if you're going to use it for feed or something for animals, especially if your soil has heavy metals in it or something else, pesticides, like you were saying. It's very important that you might have to go through a couple of crop rotations. You may have to wait it out for a couple of years to make sure that you have a safe hemp feed if you're doing a grain thing. You would agree with that?
Sure. And we also just need our regulators and our officials to sort of acknowledge that this industry is here. It's here to stay. Last I checked, smokable or medicinal, I should say, medicinal CBD or cannabinoids is a $28 billion industry. So wow. That's not going anywhere, but it's completely unregulated, right? So there's very little oversight into the cleanliness and the efficacy and safety of these products in our commercial streams.
Yep, and if they would just go ahead and legalize it, we could continue with research and get safe, standardized products out to patients and across the industry start setting standards.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about that too, and I think that's sort of what we saw with North Fork Ag, and maybe SOCDET is up against this as well, where legalization also leads to corporatization. Corporatization leads to the bottom line. The only interest then becomes, how do we make more money? How do we drive down the price so we can sell more goods, right? It's that sort of race to the bottom mentality on price so we can sell more. And this that also leads to inferior quality. We see this in the cannabis space. I would argue that 20 years ago, cannabis was significantly better, and I'm talking high THC cannabis, was significantly better qualitatively than it is today. And that is a result of legend growers who poured their heart into their crop versus, today's sort of more commercial grows that are more concerned about quantity than quality.
So a major balancing game. You can't just legalize it across the board because then a lot of crap is going to be out there consumer wise, and then pushing out the big corporate, pushing out the mom and pop stores, and that cuts down on the quality.
My dream was, I was going to go into law and sort of support the mom and pop cannabis owners of this world. And by the time I graduated, those mom and pop cannabis growers were basically not competitive anymore. I wouldn't say they were gone, but they certainly couldn't afford an attorney. You know what I mean? Like there just wasn't the place in the market. They were either bought out by larger corporations, or they went under, or they went like into the black market. And so it created a void for me where I had to say, okay, I'm going to probably shift my focus into something more broad.
Yeah, I get it. Absolutely. So I think we can go ahead and take a quick break and see if we can bring I want to finish the conversation with you, Alex. I want to talk about Indian country because I am a Native veteran and I'm also a hemp farmer. So give me the latest and greatest when we come back.
For sure.
Stats tell that each day 22 veterans commit suicide due to PTSD. These stats shook us. And
wow, that was exciting.
That was quick.
Kind of sets a mood. So we are continuing our conversation with Miss Alex Boleyn, Esquire, a wonderful attorney.
Sounds so good.
Recent grad school with a recent lawyer from law school. What an accomplishment. Congratulations on that.
It's not an easy feat.
Oh yeah, holy cow, good work.
Thanks.
So let's talk about hemp in Indian country. What's the latest?
So I can't say that I'm an expert by any means, but I do have some things that I would love to share about this topic because I think it's fascinating. So throughout my kids are also enrolled members of the Navajo Nation, and their grandmother lives on the Wind River Res, so also Northern Arapaho.
Woo!
Yeah. And so I also have sort of that bond that interested me. And then so I went into federal Indian law and tried to learn as much as I could about our third branch of government. And it's and I feel like a lot of people just don't really understand this concept of Indian sovereignty, right? And hemp, because it's coming out of prohibition. I mean, Native folks have been growing hemp or have tried multiple times over the years under treaty rights, right?
Yeah.
So because many treaties outline a right to cultivate any agricultural crop, they're vague enough that tribes have tried, and every time a tribe has tried, it has ended up in a DEA raid and significant incarceration for folks. So it's been a contentious issue, right, between the feds and the Native nations. And
yes,
under the 2018 Farm Bill, what was so incredible, and that was relentless advocacy on part of some Indian activists, was that the USDA gave the tribes the authority to regulate their own hemp programs, right? So they said, hey, you guys are treated just like any state, and you submit your tribal hemp plan to the USDA, which basically outlines how you will test and sample and make sure that you're complying with federal law, or that your farmers are complying with federal law. But that is a sovereignty affirming stance, right? You are increasing tribal authority to self-regulate, to say we have authority to administer our own hemp plan within our sovereign nation. And that's great. And last I checked, unfortunately, only 53 out of the 574 registered tribes have acted on this authority.
Mm-hmm.
And my heart and my stance is that more tribes need to do so.
Yes.
Even if they don't, even if they have sort of a hesitation or some more conservative values that are fearful of the plan from a sovereignty perspective, every tribe should be expanding its sovereignty to the outer bounds of what is possible, right? Because that's how it's maintained. When we don't exercise our rights, we lose our rights. We have learned this time and again, right? And so that's sort of my passion, and somewhere where I would love to plug in and started sort of networking with folks. And that's what my recent presentation to the Bar Association was about too, because I think if there's attorneys out there, tribal attorneys that are connected within their tribal communities, they can advocate in tribal council for this right.
Oh, Alex, it's like we are meant to be. I'm trying to do the same thing here on the reservation, but I know that I can't shove this down leadership's throat.
That's right.
I'm taking a lead by example type of situation. There is no hemp program on the Wind River Indian Reservation. but I have 80 acres of private property on the reservation. So I have my hemp license through the Wyoming Department of Agriculture, and I'm just going to lead by example.
Sure.
And so they're going to be out there, and anything that goes on the reservation, everybody knows about.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
That's
That's
just
right.
how we are.
Yep.
So once they start seeing me out there growing things and that sort of thing, and it kind of making a splash or a ripple or whatever, maybe they'll kind of be there like, maybe we should check this out. Maybe we should talk to Holly and Alex about getting a hemp program here on the res.
Yeah, I feel that.
So I might be giving you a call.
Sure. That sounds great. I mean, I would love to help set up a tribal hemp plan for any sovereign nation that is interested in expanding their authority in that way. It's like, why have a state?
Gotta have that buy-in from leadership, because I'm not.
Yeah, because
if it's not there, it's not there.
Sure, you're absolutely right. The Prairie Band Potawatomi Nation is a wonderful example that I think has paved the way. They've really embraced this. They went from medicinal cannabinoids and are now moving into textiles and really using it as an economic development tool. And they're a wonderful example, I think. But I know that even within Indian country, there can be some sort of tension. So maybe it's not always the best to bring out, here's another tribe succeeding in something, but nevertheless, I think they're a good model to look at as how it can function successfully in Indian country. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I hear that Leslie is on the phone. Can we take a real quick break? And when we come back, we'll have Leslie on and hopefully have a quick discussion with her.
I was broken for a while, a drop of blood for every mile I'm on. I took all that they gave and lived to fight another day. But if today is all I get, I'll make my mark and you can bet that I'll never surrender. On this life, and I'll never surrender. On this life, I can't change the past, but I can change how the story turns. 'Cause it's not mistakes that make us, but the lessons learned. Because what doesn't kill me will make me stronger in the end. And I'll never surrender. On this life, and I'll never surrender. On this life, if I fall, I'll get back up, standing tall again, with a medal on my chest. God knows I've done my best, because what doesn't kill me will make me stronger in the end. And I'll never surrender on this life. 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 On this life.
And we're back, everyone. Well, we are going to try to get Leslie on with us so she can join us.
Hey, Holly.
Leslie, are you there?
I am.
Ah, yay. The floor is yours. Let's go ahead and do a quick chat. We have a couple minutes of the show left, and we'll end with you. So go ahead.
Well, good deal. I know earlier you were asking me what Saqdet meant. And Saqdet is an old Egyptian goddess. It can also be spelled Saqdet with a P, or Sothis, kind of a pre-Isis figure. And the goddess is a personification of the star Sirius, which would come into the Egyptian night sky around July, the dog days of summer, and would be their sign that the Nile River would flood and make their land fertile for agricultural crops. The star Sirius also has some other mythological connotations around cannabis that you can find in like the Dogon tribe and some other populations. So I thought it was a fun name, and with the cannabis connotation, to name a cannabis company after.
That's really cool. I love that. So what is going on with you and your product and the Emerald Cup?
Yeah, so this is our first time submitting a product to the Emerald Cup. We actually have finally made the switch away from business to business, a B2B platform, to a B2C platform. So it's our first stab at having consumer products. We tested a few products out at our sponsorship at Sonic Bloom this past summer and had good feedback with our aloe. So that's the one that we submitted. The aloe has tremolo mushroom in it, which is really good for wrinkles. Of course, it has our in-house grown CBD, which is great for inflammation or any sort of face irritation. It has some other yummy herbs in there that are good for your skin.
Nice.
And then it also has Bulgarian Rose Absolute, which is kind of like an essential oil, except for it's a different manufacturing process where they actually press the rose petals through a vegetable fat and get the essence that way. And it's really lovely. So, you know, it's a great product for face hydration and just overall, I guess, skin health. And then also can be used kind of like in mild emergency situations. If you had, you know, like a sunburn, I don't know if I would use it for like a a burn, but it's a lovely product. It's nice, and I definitely can see a reduction in fine lines when I use it.
I love that. We have your website up. We have your website up. Check out Miss Leslie's wonderful product at www.sodet.com. And we're going to do the last 5 minutes, if we can get the group together, the band, for questions. H, do we have any questions for the group?
Not yet, as we speak. Not yet. I'm not pretty.
Oh, hey. More coffee, Joel.
Well, I would like to add that the hemp that we grew for this product line is actually grown on outside the reservation, but on native land for the Cherokee in Western North Carolina. What drew me to Alex and Dan's operation is the regenerative organic ag principles and the ethics behind their growing style. And so it felt so good to finally meet them and utilize them as my partners while I could. But since they had to close down shop, I grew in 2022 in Western North Carolina. And I use the same principles, organic and regenerative ag, putting the micronutrients and microorganisms back in the ground. Awesome. And on that particular piece of property, we use mainly rainwater. Any additional water that we needed to use, we used out of the creek. So it was really fun to, grow sun-grown cannabis in that manner. And, I think hopefully Western North Carolina will continue to have a good cultivation program in the low THC and high THC cannabis space in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds great. Well, if we don't have any more questions, I want to thank everybody for your patience during this is like my third podcast ever. It's been a pleasure seeing and working with you guys. And if anything comes up, please feel free to reach out and I'll get you on air. I hope you all have a great 420 and peace. Until next time, folks.
He'd be nice to these people, man.
Okay, we're live again. Hello.
I'm gonna cut.
Hi.
Okay. Are we done with the